Hey, how we doing? I'm Andy, this is Spiders. Thanks for coming back. I haven't done a video for a couple of weeks because life's just been busy. You know, the missus has just started uni, the kids went back to school, one thing and another, and yeah, things were just busy. So after that breeding month, everything was planned in advance with that. So I had all them videos planned, and I've had a nice month off basically. But yeah, today we're going to look back at them egg sacs that I had from the off-nacre species Negros and the Cosmos elegans, and it's not good news, I'm afraid. The second heat wave that we had just put paid to most of them. I don't know why they got through the first heat wave, but I was taking the lid off the tub because it was so hot. I took the lid off the tub so that they were able to just incubate in the open air, because it was like 30, I think it hit 38 degrees in here first time round. Second heat wave, it actually got a bit hotter in here, and I think it hit about 39 and a half. Now we checked them on the Saturday morning, everything was fine. I'd been checking them every day. Checked them the Saturday morning, everything was fine. I went to work because I was taking a group to Pride in Chester, and it was like super hot that day. Anyway, I checked them all the Sunday morning, and basically what I'm going to show you now is what I found. Like, so I'll let the video roll and you can have a look, and I'll see you in a little while. Cheers. Ta-ra. So this is the tub, and as you might have guessed, I'd already opened it before this, and then I set the camera up. But yeah, I opened it up, and basically, as you can see here, everything was in death curl, or it was past death curl. Everything had gone. So you're having just a check on one or two. I did notice as I was pulling these out individually that there was a couple that were still moving. I think there was about 3 or 4. So yeah, the only thing I can put this down to is just that it got too hot inside the big tub that I was using to incubate them. I had this tub and the other incubation pot for the Cosmos sort of next to each other in a bigger pot with holes, and they were sat on top of my leopard gecko tank, because the heat source from that usually keeps it at a good sort of 30 degrees, so I kept it on there. And then each time we had the heat wave, I actually turned all the electrics off to the gecko tank because it was so hot and she didn't need them. And then on the last morning, or the last evening of the heat wave, the following morning the temperatures had dropped by almost 20 degrees, so I don't know if it was the sudden drop in temperature, which I wouldn't expect, because you know, it was only for a few hours. It dropped to about 15, but I mean, it was still about 21, 22 inside the room here, so I just don't know what the bloody hell happened, if I'm honest. Again, this sac hadn't been great anyway, so it might just be that these were never destined to survive, but yeah, I'll just never know. So yeah, you may have spotted there was 1 or 2 moving around, and again you'll see there's a few. But yeah, unfortunately those that were still alive didn't make it past the next morning. So what I'm going to have to do, I've still got the 2 mature males and I've still got the female, so we'll just have to see if she'll molt out, and maybe we can try again. Right, I'm just going to jump in here because I mentioned at the beginning that I'd had a couple of weeks off and I hadn't done any videos because I've had various things going on. But I just want to say thanks to the people who weirdly noticed that I hadn't been about. So I've had, in the last few weeks, I've had a couple of messages off, well, I've had more than a couple, I've had a few messages off a few different people, just checking in, making sure I was alright, because I haven't put any videos out and I haven't been able to jump on people's streams as often as I normally would. But yeah, everything is good. Everything's all cool. I've just been mega busy, as I mentioned in the video. I'll go into in more detail further on in a different video. But yeah, like I say, I just wanted to say thanks, and it's just an awesome example of how tight everyone is in this hobby, you know, checking in on each other. You know, I was perfectly fine, but people didn't know that, and they still felt the need to check, or felt not the need, but they felt that they wanted more importantly, they wanted to just check up, drop me a message and make sure I was okay. And yeah, like I say, just goes to say how fucking awesome this hobby is. So I'm going to shut up now, and again, you know who you are, I'm not going to name names, but thank you very much. I'll see you all again. Ta. Yeah, so that was the Orphanacus negros sac. Like I say, it hadn't, you know, it didn't bode well for that one anyway. There was some issues with the sac. If you saw the video that covered it, you'd have seen there was some issues. I managed to get about 4 or 5, but they didn't make it past the following morning. So unfortunately I lost all of them, which was gutting really, because, you know, anybody who's followed the story knows that they've been a bit of a long-term sort of aim for me. So, but one of those, we'll start again. I've still got the female here, it still happens. I've still got 2 mature males here as well, so we'll just have to see how things sort of pan out. But moving on to the elegans again, you know, I just don't know. I'm just going to assume it's down to the extreme heat and that they got too hot. But I'll show you this one. There was about 92, I think it was, all in all. Like I said, we did manage to save a few, so I'll show you this footage and then I'll catch up with you at the end. Yeah, so this one I was proper gutted about. There was about 90 slings in total on this one, and again they were all kept the same. They were doing fine. They'd gone through the second molts. They were starting to get their little triangles on the carapace. Like I say, everything was going so well, and literally overnight they'd just been sort of decimated. And again, there'd been no contaminants in the room, nothing. The only thing was that particular day when I was working, I forgot to take the lid off the incubation tub, which is what I'd been doing, and that's the only thing really that I can think that was different to what I'd done in any other time. Like, so yeah, this is just me. I thought this time, rather than pulling out all the dead ones, it was quite easy to see the ones that were still okay, so I just went through and took all of those out individually. Now, we ended up with 9 and they're still doing really well. What I will do is I'll add a feeding clip. I've got a really good feeding clip from one of them. Fedu's, it's a little beast, so like I said, the 9 that have survived are doing really well. Chances are I'll probably keep these now and wait and see what I've got males and what I've got females, and then work it from there. And I may sell a couple once I know what I'm working with, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, so this is the feeding clip I mentioned. Yeah, so all in all there was 9 left, which is pretty shit, if I'm honest. It's what, 9 out of 90, it's a 10th of them. So yeah, it was disappointing, and again, I just don't know. I don't even want to, other than the heat, or that's the only thing I can put it down to. But I know the people kept sacs during that time. I don't know. Like I said, this is a south facing room, so it gets, when it's hot, it's probably 5-6 degrees hotter in here than it is outside, and then I suppose in the tub it would have been even hotter again. Like, but irony of all this is, the flip side is that very same morning that I found all these dead on the Sunday morning, what had happened is, like I said, we'd had the extreme heat, and then the temperatures dropped pretty quickly overnight, and I woke up to, well, I'll just show you and you can have a look. I'll show you this. But yeah, this is a baby horse-headed grasshopper, the Pseudoproscopia laterostris. This one's actually sat on the leg of a jungle nymph, the Heteropteryx at the moment. This is how I found him. I woke up to find basically a shitload of them had hatched out of the pot of soil that I just leave in with the big sticks, those that need the soil to deposit their eggs in. Well, yeah, these have all hatched, so there's probably about 60 or 70 at this point, but I did lose about 10 or 15 when I went away for 5 days, I tried to keep the humidity up as much as I could, extra water bowls and everything, but like I say, I did lose a few while I was at Carfest South, but like I said, the rest of them are doing pretty well now. So there was a little bonus that come out of it, and we do get some nice little shots of them, including this one of it just peeking out over a leaf. So yeah, it turns out we have quite an abundance of horse-headed grasshoppers. Now, a few of those did pass. This has been a few weeks since I filmed that. A few of them did pass, but that would be expected. And at the moment, there's probably, I don't know, there's probably somewhere close to 50 in there. So I will be looking at moving those on. I'll probably try and sell some of them once they're a bit of a bigger size and I can distinguish the males and the females and put some little breeding groups together to sell on and make it worthwhile, so that then other people can sort of bring them on and have a go breeding them themselves. So yeah, there was some positive after all that shit earlier on with the slings, like. So like I say, bit of a mix this video. Next week I've got some new stuff that I've just picked up, so I'll be showing all that off, so please do come back and have a watch of that. And like I say, I've waffled on a little bit in this one, so I do apologise, but again, thanks for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all next time. Cheers. Sarah.